this week's episode, we ask, is 2023 shaping up to be the year of the handheld? I'm Barry.
And I'm Anthony. This is episode 98 of the Retro Gaming Dads podcast, the podcast rated retro and retro inspired.
So, I haven't actually seen you today. How have you been? Have you been playing out?
No. Actually, I have been playing. Every single day this week, I've been playing a game on my lunch. I've been playing Star Wars Fallen Order. I'm absolutely loving it. I did start playing it quite a while ago, but for some reason I couldn't quite get into it. Now I've got back to it. I'm like, it's fantastic. So I'm really enjoying it at the minute.
I'm taking this is through stream and you're not dragging your Xbox into work each day.
No, like you said, I'm streaming it with my Turtle Beach Atom controller. Fantastic controller. And yeah, plugging it into my monitor on my desk and playing it that way, streaming every day.
So what's the game like? Did you complete the previous one? What was the other one called?
No, this is the first one.
Is this the first one you're playing?
Right? I never completed the first one, so I'm going back to it so then I can then play the second one. So
right. I did play a little bit of it, but I only got as far as the prologue. I think I got rescued after a boss battle, and then I went to a planet. I don't know why, I just trailed off.
I think I kind of got a bit stuck with it because obviously all the enemies have health bars, and you've got a lightsaber which is supposed to cut through anything. But I'm coming against monsters where it takes quite a few slashes, and I was kind of like, oh, it's a bit of a pain. And because I was running and thinking, I'm a Jedi, I have a lightsaber, I'm going to stab you and die. And it's like, actually, that's not what's happening. Yeah. And I think I just had to get my head around that at first because, Jedi use the Force, throw things around, and just cut through anything.
Yeah, in all fairness, though, if it was to the point where you could just one-shot every enemy because you've got a lightsaber, I think it would get pretty boring pretty quick, wouldn't it?
No, I know. I completely agree with you there. I just had to get my head around the fact that I'm not going to one-shot everything. Stormtroopers, you can, because they shoot blaster bolts and you deflect them back. There is quite a lot of funny little bits from the Stormtroopers. At one point, one Stormtrooper said to another one, I actually managed to get 100% accuracy on the firing range of the day. And the other guy goes, yeah, that's great. Now you can shoot at the Jedi and they'll just deflect the bullets back at you and definitely kill you.
Hey, at least the realists.
Yeah. So it's just they say quite a lot of quirky stuff and I actually really enjoy it.
Yeah. Sometimes I like things like that in Halo as well. If you just listen to some of the grunts, and it's quite good for world building, but also it's not quite, but it's almost breaking the fourth wall, isn't it?
It is, because quite like how the grunts will say, ha ha, I got him when he kills him. The Stormtrooper's like, yeah, we took him out. And it's like,
I'm surprised they're not going, oh my gosh, I actually hit something.
Yeah, actually.
I wasn't even aiming for him.
No, quite a lot of them, when you're fighting them, will say things to taunt you and say things, and it's like, you really enjoy it because it's really getting you into the battle.
Yeah. So have you been playing anything else?
I'm trying to think. Playing Fortnite again, I'm enjoying playing it. And then we actually had a game last night on Subcom, didn't we?
Yes, it was somewhat for stalemate, weren't it?
Yeah, we were very stuck. We weren't moving forwards and they weren't taking us over. So after 3 hours, we went, yeah, we better end it. Got to midnight and I'm like, I need to get to bed. Got work.
It's time for Betty Bows. Well, I'm trying to think what I've been playing this week. I've picked up the XCOM expansion that I didn't have.
Yes, we were talking about
Not played it yet, though.
I was thinking, we actually played a game of XCOM together.
Yeah, to get that elusive achievement.
Yes.
And, yeah, I hate RNG. I really do. I would like to point out, although I do sound quite sour, I did win, and I still hated every single moment of it.
Yes, because let's just say some of the percentages were not in Barry's favour. I was hitting 56% shots and critical killing his team.
The thing is, at the beginning, I set up a trap. Soon as you walked in range, everyone firing on you, everyone missing.
Yes.
I had 2 shots at you, which were 93% chance to hit, and I missed both.
Yeah, your Overwatch missed every single one, and then my guy then pops up and shoots your guy square in the head that was behind cover and just killed him.
Yep. Oh, no, you shot through a wall to hit the guy behind cover.
Yeah.
And the shots, which were 93%, weren't Overwatch.
No.
They were actual shots. Yeah, it was just... I think when you killed me first guy, I was like, it's a good job I brought a medic. And then you one-shot the medic and was like, okay, never mind then.
But I'm not surprised you won, but yeah, I was a bit surprised.
I actually did think I was going to lose though.
At one point, I was like, maybe I can win this. But then I pushed too hard and that was it.
Do you know what? I think it was because you accidentally moved one of your characters.
I did.
I think that's probably the turning point for me.
I did. I also meant to put one on Overwatch and I pressed... Oh, that was it. I meant to put it on Overwatch and I moved him instead by accident.
Yeah.
And then that stuffed me over. Because he ran across the screen and you Overwatched him and killed him.
I don't think I killed him. I think I might have hit him though.
Oh no, that's the one that you weren't risking to shoot. And so you decided to run over and stab them instead. Like, I'm not risking that.
Because it was your last guy. I thought, I'm not risking this. I've got a 100% chance with melee. Anyway, I've been playing XCOM. I've picked up the expansion. I haven't installed it yet, mainly for the reason that I've sold my Xbox.
Yes.
So
you've still got your One X, but I've still
got my One X, so I can still play XCOM.
So that's gone now then.
It's gone now. I sold it today, and I've got a PS5. I've gone to the dark side.
I don't believe in slightest. Do never do that. Because I know where you want to put that money, so don't even start with me there.
Crippling debt. Anyway. The only other game that I've been playing is Elliot started playing Sonic Frontiers.
Okay.
And asked me to do one of the... it was like the first cyberspace stage. And I ended up sitting and completing the entire game.
So he asked for your help and you went, I'm going to play it.
He never told me when my help was to stop. So
but the thing is that you've then taken the joy. How is he supposed to play his game now?
He's playing Mario Maker now anyway. Getting stressed out of that. Sonic Frontiers, there was no need for them to go so hard on the music on that. It's absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Although it does look very, very rough on the Switch.
I was about to say, yeah. It's not finished. Doesn't seem quite smooth, I guess.
No, it looks like what Sonic Frontiers would look like if they made it for the PS2.
Oh, okay. That's a very big step.
So even on the Series X, it has issues with popping. However, this has issues with popping, low resolution, and very blurry textures. Quite often, there's no detail on the textures whatsoever. But no, I still enjoyed it. I still completed it.
Yeah, you wouldn't have completed if you didn't enjoy it.
No, not at all. And I think that's it. I think that's all I've been playing. Although, there is one game that I am looking forward to. Have you seen the new Mortal Kombat?
Yes, and I've got one word for the trailer. Brutal.
I think brutal is underselling it.
Yeah. Honestly, it was there going through the trailer. It was all nicey, talking about hope, talking about peace. And then it just goes into ripping people apart. You're like, wow, that took a very quick turn.
Yeah.
Boy, that escalated quickly. I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Yeah, very much so. The final execution was the worst. Well, worst. I would say worst. The most vicious. I don't know. Extreme.
Yeah. In all fairness, I think it would have been much worse for anyone watching it happen than it was for the person it was happening to.
Oh yeah.
I would imagine it'd be over fairly quickly for that person.
Yes.
I just don't get why they've called it Mortal Kombat 1.
No, because when they said Mortal Kombat 1, I was thinking, what is this like going to follow the very first Mortal Kombat? Well, very first Mortal Kombat that would ever be, because that's obviously a tournament or something like that, but doesn't seem to be. So I'm not entirely sure, because very similar to how they had, think about Battlefield. You had Battlefield 1, that made no sense. You got Mortal Kombat 1. It's making no sense to me either.
Yeah. I think... See, it looks like it's going to be a soft reboot of the series.
Yeah.
However, they've already done that. I think it was Mortal Kombat 9, maybe. It had a time travel element to it where they went back in time. Well, Raiden sent his consciousness back in time to his younger self or something. And it's actually set during, I think it's the first 3 Mortal Kombat games. So it's like an alternative retelling of them.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, it's going back in time and seeing them again, not kind of playing through the original games again.
Yeah, and then Mortal Kombat 11. The last one had a lot of alternative versions of characters.
Okay.
So a bit like you're getting in all these Marvel movies now, like Enter the Spider-Verse, you got all alternative Spider-Man. This, you've just got loads of alternative versions of Scorpion, Sub-Zero. And one good thing about that is it gives you some really good crossovers. You could, in Mortal Kombat 11, you could have RoboCop versus the Terminator.
Yeah,
because they were some of the extra characters.
Did we do that? I'm sure we had a fight on that. Yeah, because I remember playing both of them.
Yeah, RoboCop was pretty cool. Only because I like watching Ed 209.
Yes. No, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And I don't know if this is confirmed, but I've seen a lot of rumors that Mortal Kombat 1 is going to have Is it Peacemaker? The DC character?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't see.
Played by John Cena.
That's it. No, Peacemaker is correct. Yes.
Yeah. I believe he's going to be one of the DLC characters in the new game.
All right. Oh, pretty cool.
So in the past, we've had loads. I think Joker was one of them. I think there's been the Predator.
You did say DC
Aliens.
for Peacemaker, not Marvel, yeah?
Yeah, DC.
All right, just check. I couldn't quite remember.
I know how weird this will sound, but I really enjoyed the Mortal Kombat games for the story.
Never really thought it was a story. It's just killing.
I know that sounds like someone getting Playboy for the articles, but
yes,
I really do enjoy the story in the Mortal Kombat games, especially Mortal Kombat 11. I even got the Aftermath DLC where you play Shang Tsung. Or as me and Phil used to call him when we were younger, Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung.
Shang Tsung.
I've never played a story mode in a Mortal Kombat game. And I think it's because when I played fighting games, for me it was more Tekken. So Mortal Kombat wasn't really one that I ever really picked up.
Mortal Kombat and by extension the Injustice series as well. Injustice 2.
Yes.
Again, I enjoyed that for the story. I do enjoy them and I enjoy playing a game against you or Phil, but the bulk of my playtime is in the single player mode on them.
No, I remember coming online and you would be playing through it quite a lot.
Yeah. So, no, I'm looking forward to that. And that is coming out 19th of September, so it's actually not that far away.
Yeah, but not only that, you can now pre-order the game as of today. Well, recording this podcast on the 19th of May, but also when you hear it on Monday, you can pre-order the game now. With the pre-order, you'll get access to the beta as well, and the character we mentioned earlier, Shang Tsung. And also the video will be in the show notes, so give it a watch.
Yeah, although, as it says at the beginning, it
is likely mature.
Oh, no, likely mature. Likely to contain mature content.
Yeah, the very first one says, likely mature, 17 plus, may contain content for inappropriate children. And then halfway through, you see people getting ripped to pieces. So you're like, okay.
I think the word you're looking for is eviscerated.
That's a perfect word for it, yes. Yes, it is.
Yeah, do not watch this if anyone's either squeamish or young.
No, not at all.
It is not likely to contain mature content. It is definitely containing mature content.
It's Mortal Kombat. You can't expect anything less. If Esther hates blood, guts, and everything else, if I showed her this, I know she'll feel queasy. It sets her off. I might show her.
That's just being cruel.
And?
Right. So, a bit of good news for Microsoft as well. And not just that I've sold my Xbox.
Why is that good news for Microsoft?
Well, it ain't, because I won't be spending money with them for a little while.
Yeah, good news for Microsoft. The EU regulators have approved the Activision deal. So, yeah, they've approved it. They did make a couple of stipulations, but otherwise they approved it and said, yep, it's fine, we agree with it, and put it through.
Sorry, I haven't seen stipulations. So what stipulations have they put in place?
I've already put one stipulation in, and that is that if anyone owns a game with Activision, so any license for any game, they can stream that for free on any streaming service. That's obviously Microsoft have been partnership with that.
So say if you buy the next Call of Duty and you're streaming it on service, they won't get any royalties from you streaming it on that service.
Yeah, so I guess that kind of obviously does limit their income, but at the same time,
but that's only if you bought the game. They're going to get income from you purchasing the game outright anyway.
Yes, because obviously streaming is only a fraction. The royalties are such a small percentage. I'm sure they'd rather you buy the game.
I don't know, because I imagine over time and volume of people, it might work out better for them. We've mentioned it in the past, but Rift Breakers, I wouldn't have bought Rift Breakers, but I played it heavily. So maybe they would have preferred me to buy that game, but I was never going to buy that game anyway.
I guess they can be a bit tactful here, because a game like Call of Duty, they know that will sell. So that's not one that really needs to push streaming to kind of grab people in. Something like Rift Breaker, though, that, as you said, we wouldn't have picked up normally, but because it was there, we decided to stream it and give it a play. And if we'd have realised it was going to have Game Pass, we would have bought it.
Yes. Although, again, I'm probably less likely to get a game like Call of Duty where there's almost an annual release to it.
Yeah.
I'm less likely to buy it outright and more likely to stream it because of that reason. Whereas a game that only gets a sequel every 2, 3, 4 years, that's the kind of title I'm more likely to go out and purchase.
No, I completely agree with you. He's kind of, like I said, an annual one is forking out the same 60 odd quid now every year. Whereas paying every sort of 4 years, you don't quite mind that because it's going into a franchise that you love going with.
Yeah, and also you feel like you can invest a bit more time in that one title. However, do you think this could be a potential remedy, though, for the CMA's decision to block the acquisition?
Now, the CMA have actually come under fire from this. So not only have they been questioned by some of the Parliament members, but they've also been questioned by even the Prime Minister and other people themselves saying, look, EU approved it. Why have we rejected it? And they're not really giving the answer to anyone, say the exact reasons as to why they've rejected it. Just think a monopoly. So they're actually under fire quite heavily from some members of Parliament that because like, this doesn't make sense. Why have EU approved it? Because Prime Minister's turned around and said that he wants us to be showing face to making sure that we are working in unity with EU. Yet the first thing that we've gone and done is reject this deal and EU approved it. So it's kind of gone against what he's trying to say. So they are actually receiving a lot of fire for this.
Yeah, and again, we talked about this where are the people making these decisions the best people to be making the decisions? And this shows that maybe there was a bit of short-sightedness. Oh, yeah, you go get these games, you go put them in your streaming service, you go push out everyone else. There's no broader vision of, well, you could do that, and to remedy it, you could allow it to be streamed on other platforms, but if they purchase it, they don't pay you the royalties. Maybe this might be one of the rare times that the CMA actually reverses its decision.
Possibly. They have said that they're going to stand by it, but I feel like if enough members of the government do challenge this may change.
Yeah.
Which I will happily love for it to change if we could, because the last thing we want is to not have the benefits of the deal over in this country. Honestly, if everywhere else but England had it,
well, we'll get some benefits of it. We just might not get all of them.
But the next area is it the FMA that's next to give their ruling?
The FTA in the US.
Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they'll reverse the decision and maybe we might actually see an end to this whole saga by, I don't know, summer this year.
Possibly, but it has been going on long enough. It's been, what, a year and a half by summer?
Yeah, it was at the beginning of last year when we first heard about this. Yeah, so it'd be nice that we don't have to talk about this anymore because
I'll be glad. Yeah,
I'll be glad the day glamorous news.
Exactly. I'll be glad so we can say the day finally it's been improved. It's going through. These are the benefits. Stuff you Sony. All that sort of stuff.
Yeah, we just want to talk about pixels and polys and not about politics.
No.
Now, before we go on to talk about the hottest handheld available at the moment, shall we say a massive thank you to our Patreon subscribers, Chuck Gizmo and Bobby Socks.
If you would like to also support the podcast, you can. And the quickest way you can do this is by leaving us an honest review on your favourite podcasting app. It only takes a minute and it is completely free.
Alternatively, if you're able to, you can support the podcast from only £1 per month through either Spotify or Patreon. In return, you'll receive an ad-free version of the podcast and get a shout out in our next episode. Right, now into the main part of the episode, and I think this is the start of what I prophesized last year.
He knew it, he had the vision, he could see it, and it's coming true. This actually looks quite nice. I do like the look of the ROG Ally. We're going to talk about the ROG Ally because it's the hottest handheld on the market, as you said, at the moment.
Yeah, I'm going to talk a bit about the Steam Deck as well.
Yes, how can you talk about one way or the other?
Yeah, considering there's so many other handheld PCs that have been released, and especially higher end ones, which, let's face it, the Steam Deck, that's not what it's aimed at. It's not aimed at the high end. For some reason, the ROG Ally is only being compared to the Steam Deck.
Yes, but you see, the thing is, though, these two go hand in hand. Get it?
No.
The handhelds that go hand in hand.
Oh, for God's sake. Oh, my God.
I think the reason they've been compared is because these are budget-friendly consoles.
Well, as budget-friendly as £700 can be.
No, I know, but they're in the market at the right place. This is the first time we've had handhelds at this caliber at this price. So that's why they're gaining so much traction, and that's where they're compared together, I feel.
Yeah, all the other alternatives are all close to, if not north of £1,000. So, although budget usually implies being cheap, these are budget as in more in most people's budgets. I've been watching loads of videos. I'm torn whether to pre-order the Ally or not. So,
and if you listened earlier, this is what I was alluding to when I said about I know where Barry wants to put the money from the Xbox.
Yeah, and that's what I was alluding to with cripple in debt. On paper, when I saw this and I saw it on paper, I thought, yeah, it's clear cut. It's on paper 2 to 4 times more powerful than the Steam Deck, especially for the £700 Z1 Extreme version of it.
Yes.
However, I've been watching a lot of comparisons, and it is definitely more powerful than the Steam Deck. However,
but there's drawbacks, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a lot of caveats to that. So again, on paper, it sounds better. It's more powerful. It's got a better screen. It's got a high refresh rate. It can be connected to external GPUs for a desktop-like experience.
Yeah.
You've got a lighter unit. It's got twin fans to help keep it cooler, especially with the extra power under the hood.
It looks a lot more sleeker. I really like the design of this.
Yeah, in all fairness, I do like the chunky look of my Steam Deck.
Thick.
However, it just doesn't seem as refined as the Steam Deck, which is a bit odd to say, considering the Steam Deck still feels very much like a beta product.
Yeah. The ROG Ally seems to work well in just use it normally, but then when you start play different games onto it, or I think you're saying when you use different functions of it, it then kind of draws power, drains power more. You can sometimes have the refresh rate drop down, sometimes have the graphics drop. But the Steam Deck seems to constantly have it just works flat, smooth across the board. Whereas the ROG Ally, if one thing gets better, another thing drops. It's not what you want.
Yeah. I think, although I do have Windows on my Steam Deck at the moment,
yeah.
And what positive things have you heard about me saying that I've got Windows on my Steam Deck?
I've not heard anything positive about Windows on your Steam Deck.
Exactly. So the only positives I've really got is, I can play Game Pass games.
Yeah. You're a lot more free on what you do in it.
Exactly. For better or worse, this is Windows.
Yes.
I'm always thinking about going back to Steam OS just because the experience was so much better on the Steam Deck. It's made with a handheld PC in mind. Now, the ROG Ally, you've got Windows 11 on it. Pressing those little tiny icons on the little 7-inch screen, especially one that's even higher resolution than what's on the Steam Deck, it's not a fun experience. It's also a more powerful machine with a higher refresh screen and a higher resolution screen. Yeah, it's the exact same size battery.
Just quickly, so I get what you're saying with this in regards to trying to utilize, Windows on this small device is difficult.
Yeah.
The screen is touchscreen again, isn't it? Same as Steam Deck,
Yeah.
touchscreen. Would it be better if there was like a stylus to help you navigate through it?
Not really. You don't want a stylus, do you?
I don't know. I mean, it depends how the options go through. So, say you try to use your finger, you got a stylus, so a lot more accuracy with it. So, just select it through.
Think of it this way.
It's just a suggestion.
In work, you use a 22-inch monitor, yeah?
Yeah.
Imagine cramming that, everything that's on there, scaling it down to 7 inches. Imagine how small that would be. How hard the targets for closing a window or selecting an icon or picking an option would be. It's not the console-like experience that you get on the Steam Deck.
I guess, and we spoke about this before, the hope would be that they would create a handheld version of Windows, but when you plugged it into a dock and connect to a monitor, it will then kind of change to a more desktop version.
Well, yeah,
or you can switch
Windows 10. Windows 10 had the tablet mode, which Windows 11 doesn't have. Changed the UI slightly so things were a lot easier to click and notice. Windows 11 doesn't have that, unless I'm being really blind. I just think the weakest part of this is Windows and the Asus software that's on it.
I don't get why they removed tablet mode. I can't imagine having my Surface Pro, taking it off the keyboard, and then not having tablet mode, because tablet mode makes it so much smoother, better to flick through your menus, get across everything, because it's all just nice, big tiles, rather than trying to... I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. Thankfully, the Surface Pro is big enough for the screen to better navigate through, but tablet mode definitely makes it easier if you was to then use a tablet.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm still torn whether or not to pre-order this and sell the Steam Deck or just keep the Steam Deck. One of the things I do like about the Ally, though, is because it is more powerful, it's a little bit closer to being a desktop replacement. Especially for me, Windows is not where I do a lot of my computing in, and I am somewhat of a dirty casual when it comes to PC gaming. Basically, if it runs Subcom and it runs Sins of a Solar Empire, I'm golden.
Yeah, you're sorted. That's all you want.
Yeah.
Just quickly, okay. So Microsoft, they used to have the Microsoft phones. That was a handheld version. That worked.
Yeah.
Why can't they put the similar UI into this?
Well, the thing is, they used to with Windows 8, and everyone hated it.
They had the technology. They used it for the Windows phones. Can not just adapt it and chuck it onto a tablet, into the handheld.
Well, no, because that'd be the Windows 8 start screen again, wouldn't it? Do you ever remember that?
I know, they would update it though to be more current now, but that's what I mean. They kind of had the basis.
They do have their own piece of software on it. I think it's called something like Weapon Crate or something similar to that, where you can put tiles and you can put your games and you'll click and it'll launch. Some games you'll select to play and then it brings up the launcher. Then you've got to switch from controller import to mouse import, using analog sticks to select your options or click play or wherever it is. And it's just not as seamless. Now, the Steam Deck does have that issue. However, the Steam Deck has those two little trackpads, which makes it quite a bit easier for switching between using mouse input and controller inputs. The Steam Deck has a lot of nice quality of life features that the Ally doesn't, and it's not because the hardware is incapable of doing it. It's the software that's holding it back. Like one of the main ones on the Steam Deck is if you place your thumbs on the analog sticks, you can then use the gyro for making those smaller movements. So if you're sniping someone, it's a lot easier to get that really precise aim.
Okay.
And for this device, which is more expensive, to have the hardware to do it, but currently not have the software feature set, it's just lots of things like that which just don't make it the compelling buy that it seemed like it was going to be initially.
It's a step in the right direction. Don't get me wrong. It's a fantastic piece of kit. It looks nice. The specs are amazing on it, and it's a decent price for it. What do you think could be next, though?
Well, first of all, I think what this has got going for it is all the issues seem to be more software-based rather than hardware issues.
So it is something like they could fix if they really
exactly, yeah. Absolutely. It's things that could be fixed. However, Asus sometimes don't have the best track record for long-term support on products.
Yeah.
They're kind of one of these companies, they like to push through the newest, snazziest bit of tech, and unless it's a massive success, kind of drop it really quickly to then go on to the next great thing, which in itself isn't terrible. You know, they're a company that's pushing a lot of this technology forward, but for someone who buys this, you know, if you stop getting updates after a year or so, it's not ideal. Either way, even if this doesn't get any software updates, it's a good thing for this industry in general to see a big player like Asus go in, release a product to compete with the Steam Deck. Now we've got competition. Someone else comes in. They can't just come in with, oh yeah, we've made the Steam Deck, but it's more powerful. They need to bring something new to the table, push the whole category forward. It's a bit like laptops. Used to get laptops, and first of all, say early 2000s, your laptops were all the same. Just, oh, well, mine's a 200 megahertz, mine's 233, mine's 266. And they were just spec bumps, essentially. And then once you started getting to like the mid 2000s, 2010s, that sort of time, you then start getting, well, now there's a whole new category of netbooks for the really low end.
Yeah.
But then you've also got ultrabooks for people who want a really slim, lightweight laptop to take around with them. So you then start getting all these different categories within laptops as a whole.
Yeah. Like I said, you look at the industry now, and it's very rare you're going to find many laptops the same because all the specs differ so much, the price differ so much. So the computing industry is so vast.
Yeah.
And that's where the handheld consoles are going to go. I'll be surprised if someone else doesn't announce something throughout this year. And not only that, obviously, I know you've got the handheld consoles. I mean, I play with my controls for my phone. You know, there's loads of different ways to play games handheld. It's not just having a console.
No, absolutely not.
More and more developers could be pushing it for the phones as well to give that experience, could be pushing for things. So there's so many different aspects for the handhelds, can go anywhere. But I don't know, what's your feel? Who do you feel might be the next person to announce, say, console, handheld console?
Nintendo. Switch 2. Confirmed.
No, they're not going to announce anything.
I reckon we'll start hearing about the next Nintendo Switch this year. I reckon it won't come out this year. It'll probably be next year, but I reckon we'll start hearing about it soon.
And it won't even be a third as powerful as the Ally.
Well, yeah, probably. The rumors that have been floating around is the next Switch is going to get a massive bump in performance. It's going to be about the same as a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. But at that point, the Steam Deck will be 2 years old. But in all fairness, playing on my Switch, I'd take a 3 or 4 times improvement on what it currently does.
Oh, yeah.
I think next company, I don't know. I think it'd be someone like Alienware. Yeah, Alienware was going to say. But I don't think they will, only for the fact that they have shown a device like this a couple of years ago, and it just went nowhere. In fact, if I recall correctly, I think that one was like the Switch where you could take the controllers off.
again, I'm sure they were like, the new chip is all this. It was very, very. There's a really nice trailer for it as well, wasn't it? I'm sure there was. I might think about something else.
I don't know if I can remember a trailer or if I just remember a lot of videos of it from CES.
Yeah.
I think it was like 3 years ago now, so I can't remember what I'd done last week, let alone 3 years ago.
Okay, so maybe not anywhere, but someone like Dell, do you reckon they would ever get into this?
Well, Alienware is Dell.
Oh yeah, that's very true. I forget how many companies own each other. It's
Yeah. I don't know. I think Alienware would be the logical one because they're a gaming PC brand. Yeah. So it would make sense for them. I guess you could see, I don't know. I think you mentioned Lenovo a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
Don't they have, is it Legion? Is it that their gaming brand?
I don't know. They have their fingers in all the pies, so.
Maybe someone like that. I don't know who I would say. I would probably imagine it's not going to be one of the big players who come out with a new one of these. It'll be someone like GP Wayne or another Ioneo, something like that.
What about the rapper? What's the rapper who always releases all this?
Yeah. The Soldier handheld. Yeah, comes with 16 billion games built in. It's like a Famiclone. I don't know. I really can't think who I would put money on, but I would put money on that we'll see another one of these get at least announced in the next 3 months.
Yeah. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
I'd like to see more of them.
Yeah, see more of them. Put the price down a little bit. More budget friendly.
Well, no, I'd like to see a little bit of a spread. But the thing is, for £350, Steam Deck is a bargain.
Yes, it is.
Especially if you do what I done. Cheap out on the Steam Deck and just buy an SSD to upgrade it. Although, in all fairness, it performed well enough with micro SD card in it. I shouldn't really do, but I might pre-order it, buy it, see what it's like, and if I don't like it, send it back within the 21 days or whatever it is that you get for distance selling.
Or CEX will buy it for like £200 over what you bought it for instead of CEX.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then that's a no-brainer. Even if I love it, I'll still trade it in.
Yeah, plus you did the Steam Deck, so
it's one of those. On paper, it should be a slam dunk, but
yeah,
I reckon this could have done with a few more months to iron out the software. Instead of releasing a fantastic machine, they've released an okay machine.
When's it due for release? Is it the 13th of June? Is it due?
I can't remember if it's 13th, but it is in June. It is next month.
Okay.
So pre-orders are available now.
Yes.
And I don't know everywhere in the world. I believe in the US it's Best Buy. Over here it's Currys.
Okay.
And you pre-order it now, and as you say, it'll come within about 3 or 4 weeks.
Because I wonder, obviously, they've got a month. I've got about a month for it to come out. They might be working on it now. So, because obviously what we've seen is all, I guess, dev kits or kind of hands-on kits people have got onto, and they could have picked all these up, and they could have made changes to it in the time they've had them until the release.
Do you know what? That's an absolutely fair point. So, although they're not dev kits that they've got, they are actual retail ones now.
Yeah,
they are using pre-release software. So, yeah, that's a fair point. Maybe I'll be talking about this in a month or so, and I'll be like, "Oh, all the reviews are coming out. The software is amazing."
Because they got sent out like 2-3 months ago, didn't they? So it's been a while since they've had them.
I think a few people got like a pre-release version a couple of months ago, but loads of YouTubers have been sent one in the last 2 weeks or so, ahead of its pre-order release. And they should be actual retail units now. So there shouldn't be any difference between them and what gets released. But again, as you say, like games nowadays, here's your new console. Don't forget your day one patch.
Yeah. And in all fairness, you can't knock it because, again, those day on patches will be because some people got their game, they've played it, they've seen these issues, said they needs fixed. So that's where there's day one patches. Same thing for this. And in all fairness, I would rather have that day one patch to fix the issues and make it a lot smoother and better experience than just leaving it and then it being a nightmare and, I don't know, giving you a sour taste.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. It's not that long. As I say, it's only 3 or 4 weeks away for the release.
Yes, not that long at all until it's released. And with that, we have come to the end of this week's episode. If you'd like to find out more about anything mentioned, you can view the full show notes at retrogamingdads.co.uk. We have been the Retro Gaming Dads. We'll see you next time.